How's it going, everybody? Yarrow here with Home Hero. We're going to try something new today. We're talking into this mic over here and share a few things with you guys today. Today we're going to talk about the buying process, the selling process. If you watched my last video, you know that the most important part of the process is your agent. But before we go into that, because there's a ton of things like how to become a homeowner, free guide to becoming, or free guide to home ownership, or 5 steps to take. Those things may be helpful. However, today on this video, we're going to be talking about the actual process, the true process, and a couple other things. But before we get to that, I want to tell you about a story of how I quit before I got started. I know, cliche there, right? Anyways, when I first got into real estate 6 years ago, okay, I guess I can't make this too short. I guess I got to give you some pretext. I went to University of Washington, Tacoma to get my degree. Ended up meeting a guy, a business professor, who got me connected because I was taking a business class, got me connected with a real estate agent when we were looking to buy our first home. And that agent is still someone I work with to this day, someone I admire and respect to this day. And he got me into real estate. Unfortunately, I joined a team that wasn't so good. We won't name the actual team, but maybe we shouldn't even name the brokerage that shall not be named, Keller Williams. Yeah, I joined KW, Keller Williams, for a really brief moment of time for 8 months, and I quit because it was horrible. Maybe for some of you folks out there it's okay, but the reality is they steal your food, 30% of it, from every single piece of your transaction. So anyways, the way it works is, say I earn a $10,000 paycheck off a transaction before taxes, before fees, and say, so $10,000 paycheck, they take 30%. So off the table, $3,000 is lost. Then the team comes in, and the team says, well, we've given you a desk space, literally a 2x3, and an old chair, and some resources, including transaction coordinating that you can do yourself and or hire out. But we include it, and we'll take 50% for that. So I was left with 20% of a paycheck, literally $3,500 from another cut. And that wasn't going to work for me, because then I could have just stayed in banking. So I quickly figured out that I had to change and jump ship and go to another one. Had a different direction. So I signed up with Skyline Properties, where I get taken care of a lot better, and I get to feed my family and work on bigger things like the studio and media production and all sorts of things. So here I am with Skyline Properties 5 years later. Okay. All of that to say that if you're a buyer or a seller, you may want to quit before you get started. If your agent's not taking care of you, just fire them. You really haven't even hired them. Signing a buyer agency agreement is just as simple as ripping it apart and going next door to another agent. So you're never bound to your agent unless you're signing some weird addendums that include giving up your soul to them or something. But otherwise, it's a competitive world out there, and you should be able to choose your agent. You should be able to choose your home and never be pressured into what you're buying or who you're using, regardless if your family member, brother-in-law, or whoever else in the world is related to you and is an agent. You are not required to use them. So that being said, the buying process and the selling process. A little bit regarding buying. I get this all the time. Buyers want to go look at a house, but they haven't even been pre-approved. Listen, please do me and every other agent you may work with a favor. Get your pre-approval in, because otherwise you're just window shopping. And if you're window shopping, then just go drive by the house. No reason to go look it inside, because otherwise you're wasting your time, you're wasting my time, you're wasting everybody's time, the seller's time, and you're doing nobody any good. Get your pre-approval in, number one. Well, actually, number one, find yourself a good agent that's honest, a good agent that you can vibe with, a good agent with good reviews, an agent that gets this industry in this area. Otherwise, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're going to have a bad experience, and that may cost you thousands of dollars, or it may even cost you that deal or the house that you really wanted. So when you're making one of the most important deals or decisions in your life, make sure you pick a good agent. Number 2, get pre-approved. Make sure you're doing yourself a favor by knowing what you can buy, because otherwise you're looking at homes that you may not even qualify to buy. You don't even know how much it's worth. You don't even know how much your monthly mortgage is going to be. Like, it's just, you don't go to a store if you don't know how much money is in your bank account. If you do, you got a serious problem. But honestly, you don't. It's the first step. Just don't get your pre-approval after you fall in love with the house. This happened to me with a client a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, where they didn't listen. They didn't want to get pre-approved. I went out anyway, showed them the house. The house went pending. They got upset, heartbroken, depressed. Okay, maybe not that bad, but they got upset. The home came back on the market, and between there, I told him to get his pre-approval in. I guess the first time he didn't learn the first time, so he didn't get the pre-approval in. So what happens next? Well, he can't get the house when it came back on the market. The lender said they were going to need a couple more days and more collateral and this and that. Anyways, long story short, he didn't get the house, and we had a sweet deal on the house. I even had the agent tell me what to write it up for to get the house. That doesn't happen very often in any market, but opportunities come up, and if you miss them, you miss them, and it's your fault if you didn't get pre-approved. Not your agent's fault, not the world's fault, it's your fault. So get pre-approved, and I recommend a couple lenders that I work with that do a phenomenal job. You can look at the link in this video to see who I'm working with and who you can trust. Now that you're pre-approved, what does that look like? Well, your agent should be good enough to give you access to looking at homes through the MLS. No, not their login and password. No, big no. That's actually against policy. What they're going to do is set you up on a home search. Everything that you and your wife, or you, if you're a lady and watching, and your husband want in your next house. Something that everything. You tell them everything you want. But don't expect you're going to get everything, because depending on the market that you may be in, that may not be possible. So make sure your agent is listening to what your needs are, what you guys are looking for, and understand that there are some things you may not get in your home, which is okay. After that, that's where the fun part starts. You go shopping, you go look at homes, you go look at a million doors, and figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want, where you want to live, what areas work, how far they're from work. That's the fun part. You get to look at all the homes you want before actually purchasing or writing up an offer. Then you're going to write up an offer. You're either going to get it accepted and move forward, or you're going to get declined and get back to step 2, home shopping. So either way, it either ends there actually it pauses there, because after you get your offer accepted, there's a whole nother set of things that happen, which we won't go through in this video. Otherwise, it's going to be another 15 minutes. And that's why we have buyer consultations, which is why I'm here. I would love to invite you over to come to Home Hero HQ and have a buyer's consultation, seller's consultation, or at your house. And we can go over all the steps in detail, and you can ask me all the questions for me to go into detail. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to say you're going to go pending, and you're going to move towards closing. And then you're going to get your keys after around 21 to 30 days, depending on a lot of other things. Anyways, safe to say about a month. Now, if you don't get your offer accepted, then you're back to shopping, and hopefully you can get a home under contract. Depending on the market, it may be either a seller's market or a buyer's market, and you may need to do different strategies, and you may need to do certain things to help your odds of getting the house. That's where hiring a good agent will matter the most. Negotiations and knowing what to do and what not to do, not just overpay on something you don't need to overpay. I love negotiating. I love talking, as you can probably tell by now. So I love to get all the information I need, suck it out of the other agent for my buyers. Or if I'm on the listing side, I like to keep my mouth shut so I'm not telling everything that they don't need to know. But still stay honest and ethical. And yes, you can do that. If you are a seller, there's a whole different kind of set of rules, right? You don't need to get pre-approved unless you're also buying. But if you're selling a house, make sure you interview 5 people, 5 agents. Interview them. Let them see what they're going to give you. Why would you just go with the first person who's maybe not even in this full time? Makes no sense, right? So make sure you're doing your research. Hire, go through 5 people. Spend an hour with each person or more, depending on what you're asking them, and really see if this person is motivated to sell your house, motivated enough to get the work done, and ask them all the questions in the world that you may have. Once you do that, you'll list it. They'll put the super pretty sign in your yard, and they'll put on the MLS, and hopefully they're not just doing that. They're also marketing it, door knocking the neighborhood, sending out marketing material and all that jazz. If they're not, you should probably move on to interview number 2, interview number 3, and interview agent number 4, 5, 6, or 7, or however many it takes until you find the one. It's like marriage, but very short term, because actually, no, it's like marriage. Once you choose an agent, they're always your agent, or at least they should be if they did a good job. If they didn't, then you should probably divorce them and never work with that agent again and just move on with your life. That's how this is. I'm telling you, this industry is cutthroat. Only the strong survive. You just got to last longer through these markets that take up and down. It's quite interesting, actually. Anyways, you're going to list your house and hopefully get a great offer, and that's where your listing agent will then negotiate, going back and forth with the offers, present those offers to you, and get your home sold. Also 30 days, right? So that's in a nutshell. There's a lot that is in all of that. There's a lot more details in between of all those steps. But just wanted to share that with you guys. If you've listed your house and it's not selling and you're going to quit, you may need to quit and choose a different agent and get it back on the market, because not all real estate agents are created equal. That should be one of the real estate constitutions amendments. Not all of us are created equal. All of us have different things we can offer and different set of skills we can offer and different personalities. So choose one that will work best for you. And sometimes that means you have to quit before you get started. I once had to quit before I got started. And you should too if they're not getting the work done for you. That's on the listing side. And on the buying side, if they're not motivated to go shopping with you, if they're not as excited to buy this house as you are, something's wrong with your agent. Fire them. They should be as excited or even more excited to their career, to their job, and to you as their client. Anyways, guys, I'll see you again tomorrow in the next video. If you have some questions or, something comes up between now and you watching the video, feel free to drop a comment, or you can give me a call direct. Find me, and we can also have a buyer's consultation here, free of charge, free drinks on me. Got a little fridge over here. So anyways, until tomorrow, and thanks for watching.